120, 130% debt to GDP, not good. 350% global debt to GDP, very bad. You need to find more growth. You need to find more real hard assets. And so by building a Bitcoin strategic reserve, listen, over the last decade, Bitcoin's annual average return is 63% year over year. It is not only the best performing asset over the last decade and the last 15 years, it's the best performing by far. It's not even close. And so what do you want to do? You want to back your deficits and back your future promises with that thing. You get to just buy that growth off the shelf. And so the only thing that's outgrowing the amount of money our government is spending is Bitcoin.
Former US President Donald Trump changed the discussion surrounding Bitcoin and crypto in the US political scene when he expressed his strong support for Bitcoin in June. In several public appearances and posts on the Truth social media platform, Trump said he recognized the geopolitical significance of the world's largest cryptocurrency, warning that any policy that seeks to stop the acceptance and growth of Bitcoin in the US only helps China and Russia. "We want all the remaining Bitcoin to be made in the USA," Trump announced in one post. Trump's statements at the Bitcoin 2024 conference also started lively discussions about making the leading cryptocurrency a strategic reserve asset in the United States and other countries and nation-states. These discussions have begun gaining traction in policy circles due to the support from other pro-Bitcoin political leaders, including former presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and pro-Bitcoin lawmakers like Cynthia Lummis. Kennedy proposed a similar policy in which a small percentage of U.S. Treasury bills would be backed by hard currency, such as gold, silver, platinum, or Bitcoin, to curb inflation by pegging the dollar to deflationary assets that maintain their value over time. During a recent interview with Kitco's lead anchor and editor-in-chief Michelle McCory, Strike CEO Jack Mallers echoes similar sentiments, highlighting why it has become imperative for the U.S. government to choose a strong reserve asset to back the declining dollar. Mullers explains that Bitcoin is the only asset that has managed to surpass the constant devaluation of fiat currencies, like the US dollar, by a wide margin every year since its creation. As such, it's only wise to use it to return confidence in the US dollar, treasury bills, and the US government itself. As we bring you clips from Jack's discussion with McCory, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos featuring insightful analysis and the best strategies with some of the industry's brightest minds. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
I love the Arthur Hayes quote, "Bitcoin equals technology plus fiat liquidity." At the end of the day, it's superior monetary technology, and its performance is a direct reflection of fiat liquidity or currency debasement. It doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't matter which party or which side, left, right, blue, red, up, down, doesn't matter. The only way out is through. The only way out is currency debasement. And I think Bitcoin goes up no matter what. I will say, as an entrepreneur, born, raised, and currently operating in the United States of America, I love the things Donald Trump is saying for my business. I would love if the United States of America was progressive for Bitcoin, was inviting to entrepreneurship, innovation here, if the Bitcoin Act proposed by Senator Lummis was passed and we started building a strategic reserve here in the United States. Don't get me wrong, I would love that. And I would love if Donald Trump was also influencing Harris to actually pick up a lot of the same policies. And I think it's unbelievable, almost to the sense of the definition, hard to believe that a white paper that was leaked to a mailing list 15 years ago is now at the center of one of the most important presidential elections in United States history. That's unbelievable. I love what Trump is saying, but am I bearish or bullish depending on what politician is in the White House? Of course not. I'm bearish the current financial system. I think the dollar and its hegemony and this coming sovereign debt crisis, all of it's untenable. And that's going to be reflected best in Bitcoin, in the BTC USD price, no matter who's in office. I think even if the Democrats win, it should happen. Why should it happen? We need to address the fiscal deficits. Like, what are we talking about? The debt is untenable. In the beginning of our conversation, we're talking about just like, no matter what, the US is in trouble. You want to raise rates, you want to lower rates, you want to work with Japan this way or that way. Right now, the policy is, please, nobody sell your treasuries. We can't afford it. Everyone hold on tight. We have to figure out how to land this plane. And a sign of confidence is backing a lot of your deficits, your debt, with something hard and something real. And we talk about things like global debt to GDP or even domestic debt to GDP here in America. That deficit that ratio is bad. 120, 130% debt to GDP, not good. 350% global debt to GDP, very bad. You need to find more growth. You need to find more real hard assets. And so by building a Bitcoin strategic reserve, listen, over the last decade, Bitcoin's annual average return is 63% year over year. It is not only the best performing asset over the last decade and the last 15 years, it's the best performing by far. It's not even close. And so what do you want to do? You want to back your deficits and back your future promises with that thing. You get to just buy that growth off the shelf. And so the only thing that's outgrowing the amount of money our government is spending is Bitcoin. How do you solve the deficit problem? You own something that's growing faster than the White House can spend. That's Bitcoin. And so I think no matter who's in office, it's not like a partisan issue. It's just a great idea. It's just a fundamentally good idea that should give confidence to the world of, okay, someone in that country is doing math. Someone in that country understands the gravity of the problem, and someone in that country is working on it. I think that's the only message we want to send, not only to Americans, but to the world.
Though the conversation has been gaining more traction in recent times, discussions about using Bitcoin to better the nation's finances have been ongoing for years. In February 2022, Senator Cynthia Lummis, the crypto queen of Congress, suggested that the Federal Reserve diversify the $40 billion in foreign currencies it held on its balance sheet by adding Bitcoin. She has not stopped pushing this idea and other pro-crypto ideas, and continues seeing benefits in holding the digital currency as part of the nation's financial portfolio. After Trump's statements, the senator said, "Bitcoin is an incredible store of value, and I certainly see the benefits of our country diversifying its investments. However, there has been some criticism against these ideas. Some Bitcoin critics have pointed out that using Bitcoin to back the dollar will further weaken confidence in the dollar and cause widespread panic." Here is Jack's response to such notions.
I think, listen, I would like to see the United States build a position not in confiscated Bitcoin, right? I think we have to respect property rights here in the United States of America. You cannot just steal other people's things and claim it as your own. I really would not want us to build our position that way. I also think printing dollars to buy Bitcoin, the reason that they're not doing that is, of course, there's dangers. There is, you are building a Bitcoin position with money you can print in something that's hard and scarce. That makes sense. But you're hyperinflating, all of those that hold dollars and dollar denominated things. And so that's the fear is, so I think Lummis's proposal is very clever, is that you're going to use excess reserves at all the Fed banks and basically roll over excess reserves in other assets and other currencies and into this new thing that's performing so well and is the hardest money we've ever seen. So it's taking existing capital as opposed to printing new capital. Now, listen, as a Bitcoiner, do I think the US should look into ripping the Band-Aid, printing money and buying as much Bitcoin as they can? Quite possibly. But that is the type of activity that I think, going back to our last topic, would potentially destabilize the dollar, and people would lose a tremendous amount of confidence in the dollar, and all of the both United States citizens and everyone around the world that operates on the dollar would go through almost like a hyperinflationary time because of their rapidly debasing against a specific hard asset. So that's why I think that's not been proposed and on the table. And I think the first step to build confidence in the dollar and in the United States is just saying, we recognize the situation we're in. We also recognize this unbelievable technology that's the best performing asset in human history. A lot of its innovation is in America. A lot of the companies are in America. Hey, why don't we lean into this thing and signal to the world that we're about technology, freedom, democracy, innovation. And this is actually a very American idea to build a strategic reserve in this new tech.
But let's go back to this thesis of, if it does become a strategic reserve asset, what happens then in terms of other central banks or other countries, other sovereign nations following suit?
I think they follow suit immediately. I think Bitcoin's price goes up. The reason Bitcoin's so performant is because it's fixed supply. It's the only fixed supply asset in the history of our species. Gold is scarce. Gold's not fixed. If we need to find more gold, we can. If you want more Bitcoin, you can't. And so I think everything bleeds from that core conceptual idea. And so the whole point of a decentralized currency or distributed ledger technology, the whole idea is distributing the monetary policy, making the monetary policy resilient from any central control or change. And so it's natural that every individual will want Bitcoin, every corporation will want Bitcoin, every government will want Bitcoin. Finding the hardest money, monies compete over their monetary policy. The harder monetary policy wins. You see this. Look up a Nigerian Naira chart priced in US dollars. Which currency wins over time? The harder one. That's the dollar. So now look up a US dollar chart priced in Bitcoins. They look the same. All that's happening is a more dominant, harder monetary policy is competing and beating weaker monetary policy and currencies. And so I think the US government, no matter who's elected, will find themselves owning Bitcoin because it's natural to own the harder money always. Look at the history of gold. Gold at one point was the harder money, and that's why so many people, including central banks, own it. And I think it's natural that governments start owning Bitcoin. You're seeing the adoption in the individual level, at the corporate level with companies like Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. And I think you'll see it at the nation state level. It's just only natural.
Alex Thorne, the head of firm-wide research at Galaxy Digital, has similar views on the issue and sees a lot of merits in the idea of Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. In a recent interview with Forbes, Thorne said, "As a global decentralized commodity money with sound properties, Bitcoin will undoubtedly play a growing role in geopolitics and international trade. What started as hobbyists using their home computers has elevated to industrial manufacturing, institutional portfolios, and corporate balance sheets. There's every reason to believe that the Bitcoin network layer will expand further to include nation-states." Please share your thoughts on Jack's discussion with Macquarie and his thoughts on making Bitcoin a strategic reserve asset in the United States, which will undoubtedly start a ripple effect among other nation-states. Do you think we could have a related policy in the US anytime soon? How do you think such policies will impact Bitcoin's price? Please share your thoughts, comments, and observations in the comments section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for the support, and we hope to see you in the next one.